chairs of the Seattle Community Police Commission. And the Seattle Community Police Commission acknowledges that we are on the traditional land of the Coast Salish people, including the Muckleshoot, Suquamish, and Duwamish people, past and present. And with humility, we recognize how much we benefit from living on their land and water. The Seattle Community Police Commission honors and highlights these tribes, and we hope that this acknowledgement will encourage authentic relationships with urban Native people and all Coast Salish tribes. And at this time, I will take attendance. Prachi Dave. Reverend Patricia Hunter is here. Reverend Harriet Walden.
Here.
Good morning.
Morning.
Joseph Saya. Elena Santian.
Present.
Good morning. Erica Newman.
Present.
Good morning. Tasha Johnson.
Good morning.
Good
Present.
morning. Lajea Washington. Suzette Dickerson.
Present.
Good morning. Officer Mark Mullins. Not yet. Joel Merkel.
Good morning, present.
Good morning. Jeremy Wood.
Present.
And Mary Ruffin.
Yeah, Mary.
Present.
Good morning, Mary. And we certainly welcome Mary. We do have a quorum, Mary, as our newest commissioner. Jeremy, you are no longer the new kid on the block. That mantle now moves over to Mary. And so, Mary, we are just delighted that you are interested in the work that we are doing and trying to make Seattle a safer place for all individuals. And if you would just be willing to share with us a little bit about your interest in serving on the commission and what your background is.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the quick introduction. I'm Mary. I use she, her pronouns. I'm currently a commercial real estate law clerk by day, and I also serve as the vice chair for the Solid Ground Board of Directors. But I'm mostly here because my own personal experiences with the police throughout my life and in my community. And that ranges from sort of uneventful everyday interactions to some pretty catastrophic ones. So I'm hoping to add value to this space and to this important, but also very, very challenging work. Appreciate you having me. Happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much. And we are just really happy that you are with us.
Pachi says she's in the waiting room. She's waiting.
I also see that Officer Mullins has joined us and is here.
Thank you. Thank you. Officer Mullins is here. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Glad that you all are here.
And somebody let Pachi and Pachi Divey.
Don't see Prati on this call.
Yes, she says she's showing up under my organization named Civil Survivor.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
And while we're letting Prachi in as a co-chair, I just also want to echo Reverend Hunter and just say how excited we are to have Commissioner Ruffin, and thank you for being here today, Mary. We're really excited to have you part of the commission now.
Thank you. I'd like to do the same thing. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome very much. Thank you for being here.
And let me acknowledge, Prachi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome and good morning. And we're happy that so many commissioners and guests are with us this morning. Next is to approve the draft agenda that was distributed. Is there a motion to receive this agenda?
I'll
Is
step
it-
away from the chair and I'll also.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second, it. Step away from the chair and second the second amendment, the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we receive the agenda as presented. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any, thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Thank you. And now for the approval of the minutes. And the minutes that we are approving are from November 16th. We were not able to have our meeting recognized on December 7th because we didn't have quorum. And so the last minutes that we have are from November 16th. I hope you read them. And I'm curious if we got all of the individuals that were actually present on those minutes. My question is because I think there are 7 commissioners listed, and I think we needed 8 to have quorum.
We did.
So we're missing somebody in the attendance. And Jeremy, I'm wondering if you were actually in that meeting on the 16th.
Yes, he was.
I was.
Okay. So that's a correction that needs to be made, that Jeremy was present on the 16th, November 16th. Any other corrections to the minutes? If not, may I have a motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
Also move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that the minutes from November 16th will be approved as corrected. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is, and abstentions? The motion is carried. Okay, to my knowledge, there are no action items right now to be reviewed, and so we'll go directly into public comment. Public comment is welcomed by the CPC. Individual speakers will be provided up to 2 minutes to comment about items on the meeting agenda. Logan or Callie, has anyone signed up to make public comment?
We have one person raising their hand right now, and I am transitioning my screen over to the timer. Can everybody see the public comment timer?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Give me 1 sec to pull up the participants. Okay. All right. Howard Gale, go ahead. Are you able to hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Good. Good morning. On today's agenda, there's a discussion of the complainant appeals process, a process which was demanded by the community and required by Seattle law over 5.5 years ago. Since then, 16 people have died in SPD interactions, at least 9 of whom were experiencing a mental health crisis and wielding an edged weapon or no weapon at all, with their families denied any accountability or justice. Over these last 5.5 years, many dozens have been seriously injured by the SPD in demonstrations, with many suffering lifelong consequences. The failure of this body to act upon what was legally mandated 5.5 years ago to provide an appeals process for those killed or injured by the SPD has guaranteed guaranteed that their quest for justice is stymied and their voices have been silenced. This is not surprising when one considers that the CPC for its entire 10-year existence has had no commissioners directly impacted by serious police violence, and even worse, has often acted to silence and disrespect those voices, as happened just 3 weeks ago when Castile Hightower was abused, disrespected, and shut down by CPC staff at the CPC community engagement meeting, as happened just 2 months ago when Director Grant and Reverend Walden, without the knowledge or approval of commissioners, decided to insult and bully the Seattle Human Rights Commission from taking on the role of lifting up the voices of those most impacted by police violence, the very voices ignored or silenced by this commission. This commission does not have the trust of the community and certainly does not have the trust of those harmed by police. It would be wholly inappropriate for this body to have any part in developing a complainant appeals process. This process needs to be turned over to the Office of Police Accountability, which has just last month been provided with the funds and a city council mandate to begin this process by centering it around the voices of those most severely impacted by police violence. I fully expect to be attacked for my comments, and it only shows that there is no community.
Thank you,
Sir.
Howard Gale.
Any others?
No one else is raising their hand.
Okay.
If anybody else would like to make public comment, please raise your hand now. I do not see anyone.
Thank you, Logan. Is there anyone that would like to respond to the public comment? Any commissioners?
I can't see, the clock is in the way, so.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I'll just say that I hope as we develop a process for the complainant appeals process that those participating in public comment take the opportunity to make any recommendations, and I hope that that we'll have that chance through public comment to incorporate the views of community into our process.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Anyone
Jeremy.
else?
Thank you, Attorney Jeremy Wood. Thank you.
I do believe
Um,
somebody else has raised their hand. If we would like to, if there's no other responses.
My only response would be is that I'm not sure that none of the commissioners have been significantly impacted by police actions that have been harmful to themselves or their family. And so I would not want to assume that none of us has been impacted. So
Yeah.
just want to put that out there.
Yeah, so, anyway.
All right.
Is there another person, Logan?
Yes.
Yeah, but we don't-
Matthew Mitnick, are you able to hear us? Are you able to unmute?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Midnick. I use he, him pronouns. I am a Seattle Human Rights Commissioner, and I first wanted to express that both myself and another commissioner, Jeff Abdullah, we are the liaisons from the SHRC to the Community Police Commission. And in future meetings, it would be really great if we could receive agendas, perhaps be able to participate more in the meetings at a panelist level. I just, since I'm the liaison and I want to take that seriously and be in a better position to participate. I also just want to share that I'm deeply interested in the appeals process as well, and feel that it's very important that you all take up that work, and it just makes sense and would be doing justice for victims and their families. And then finally, I wanted to mention that on the Human Rights Commission, we are going through the process once again to pursue amicus status, and I'd be open to and welcome a conversation with you all about that, and to meet before our next meeting in January. But that's something I know myself and other commissioners feel very strongly about in terms of giving victims of SPD violence and their family members a direct role in the federal consent decree hearings, because that has not been happening. And I've heard from numerous folks in the community that they really, really feel that their voice has not been listened to, and they've gone to the Human Rights Commission to do that. And I hope we can work collaboratively on that moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Is there a response to
We welcome that. That's good.
Matthew?
I'll just quickly respond as a co-chair to say, Matthew, thank you for being here. Welcome. We appreciate your comments. And we'd certainly love to partner and connect more. Would love it if there was a way for you and others on the commission who are liaisons to the Seattle Police Commission to connect with the co-chairs so that we can have a more direct conversation about how we can make that facilitate that. As for agendas, I can tell you that our agendas prior to the meetings are published at least 24 to 48 hours prior to the meeting, and they're typically not even approved before then. So if we can talk offline about how to get them sent more directly to you rather than having you check the website the day before, but they get posted right after the co-chairs approve them. Other than that, I would welcome the opportunity to kind of have more of a direct conversation.
I would just echo Reverend Walden and Joel's words of welcome. I previously served some years ago as chair of the Human Rights Commission, and I look forward to chances for collaboration. I also think that the Human Rights Commission, through its work handling appeals from the Office of Civil Rights, has insight and experience that would be helpful in further developing the complainant appeals process, and I'll look forward to chances for collaboration there.
Great.
There are no other hands, so I think that is it for public comment.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, now let's move forward to CPC updates. And there is an update from our co-chair, Commissioner Merkel.
Thank you, Co-Chair Hunter. We've been talking for weeks, if not months, about getting the work groups going. And I do want to announce today that the co-chairs have met with staff and developed work group assignments. I'm going to announce the group assignments in a moment. First, I'd like to have a commission full of commissioners. We are still working with the mayor's office and the city council on getting more commissioners appointed. At this point, we have, I think, at least 6 vacancies. We're really excited. Mary Ruffin was just confirmed, but also saddened at the same time that Douglas Wagner resigned last week. So we gained one, we lost one. It's my understanding that the appointing authorities are working through a number of prospective commissioners, and we're hoping that we can get more commissioners appointed in the next month or two. That will allow us to have more robust work groups. We also have a couple commissioners that haven't really showed up at all, and we may be looking at whether they're interested in even staying on the commission, and whether it makes sense to have more energy replace them on the commission, just so we can get those work groups more robust. So as far as work groups go, the assignments are as follows. And the one thing I will say about the assignments is if you have a different preference for your assignment, that's fine. Let us know so that we can get you to the right work group. These are the assignments as of now. And under the bylaws, the expectation is that you're putting in about 8 to 10 hours a month through CPC meetings and work groups. The work groups are commissioner driven, but they're staff supported. So Callie is our policy director. She's on the screen, and she's physically at the CPC meeting today. She's going to be reaching out to each of you about getting the work groups going and getting a regular schedule and a workflow going. So and the reason I've mentioned that is because if there are any email problems, if you're having difficulty getting email, if you're not getting any emails, we really need to make sure we have your most updated and accurate information so that we can communicate with you pretty easily. So All that said, there are 5 work groups, complainant appeals, which has already been teed up from comments this morning. The 2 commissioners on complainant appeals are Mary Ruffin and Jeremy Wood. The next work group is community engagement. That work group is going to include Alina Santillon and Mark Mullins. The next work group is behavioral health. That is going to include Erica Newman and Prachi Dave. State legislative, for now, just has Suzette Dickerson, and then I will back up and help with that work group. Police practices includes LaJaya Washington and Tasha Johnson. And again, if these are not your preferred work groups, that's absolutely fine. Please reach out to the co-chairs or Callie, and we'll get you where you'd prefer to be, and we'll make it work. So with that, again, I'm really excited everyone's here today. We have, I think, most commissioners attending today's meeting as we've had in months, and so that's really great. And we really want to keep that energy going into next year. So thank you.
You're muted.
You're on mute, Reverend Hunter.
Thank you, Commissioner Merkel. Any questions for Joel? Comments? Okay. Well, our executive director, Brandy Grant, is unable to be with us today, but if there's someone that's is going to step in, Callie, perhaps, to give the executive director report?
I don't think I have an executive director report, but my colleague Megan is here and can talk about the draft of the annual report from 2021.
Thank you.
And yes, the executive director is sick today, and so she asked me to officially announce that the 2021 draft annual report has been sent out as of Friday. We've received requests for corrections and edits, which we have completed, but we are awaiting and welcome any additional corrections or edits that the commission would like, and so that we can move toward approval of the 2021 annual report. And so we'll just stand by at this point to get any kind of additional feedback.
Okay. I would encourage the commissioners to please read the annual report. For 2021, it is quite late in being written, and so it will be 2022 before 2023 before the 2021 annual report is approved. But when I read it, I had a number of edits that needed to be made. And so if you would please read it to make sure that the things, particularly if you were here in 2021, so you can let your comments be known, and make sure that as far as you remember from 2021, that what is being said and what is being put out on our website and publicly stated is actually correct. So we are not prepared today to vote on it, to be made public, but I am requesting that you please read the annual report for 2021.
Has it been any explanation why it's so late?
I believe because the former staffers that were working on it
that's right. Okay.
are no longer with us. So we're all of us that have been working on it are new. I would like, if Reverend Hunter, if it's all right with you, to just send out the updated version that you requested, and do that today, so that because I feel like as though the corrections we made were important.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. An update now from the work groups.
Sorry, Reverend Hunter, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
And this is Tasha Johnson. Is there a time limit or that you want this to be turned around as we're reviewing the annual report for final approval? So would that be by the next meeting? Is there another one? No, this is the last one. This is the last one for this year, right?
Yes.
So the
It
first-
is.
Okay.
This-
Yeah, so would it be by the next meeting that you're hoping to get that turned around or get the edits in and then approval at that next meeting, that sort of
Yeah.
thing?
Mhm.
That would work for me. If the corrections or edits could be in the next week.
Okay.
If it's ready to be approved at the next meeting, which is the first Wednesday in January, we can vote on it then. If not, we would have to wait until the third Wednesday in January. But one of my concerns was also the quick turnaround that it came to us on Friday and they wanted approval by Wednesday, and that just didn't work with the number of edit needs that were in the report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to thank our new staff too, because
Absolutely.
they absolutely knew. And then Shailene, who's the Pharma Policy Director, and her team was working on that before they moved on to another opportunity for themselves. So I want to thank the new staff, and everybody is just really doing a great job coming on and picking up the pieces where other people had left off whenever. I want to thank you.
That is true. Thank you. Thank you. Are there any work group updates?
So I'm going to jump in here because this is, as you mentioned earlier, this is with a couple of things that I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to be primarily responsible for the state legislative agenda work group, as well as the complainant appeals work group. Thank you so much, Commissioner Wood and our new Commissioner Ruffin, for stepping up on complainant appeals. I'll be giving a presentation about that later today, but I'm really excited about working with you on this. So there's no updates except that I'm really looking forward to working with everyone and starting to do this important work.
Thank you. And I'm not aware of any new business. So let's move right along to department updates. Is there someone here that will give us an update from the City Council? I guess not. The mayor's office? And I do see Mr. Wood here from the monitoring team, Ward from the monitoring team. So would you give us an update? And you're on mute.
Good morning, members of the Community Police Commission.
Morning.
The monitor team, primarily in the person of our team member Vanessa Wheeler, working with Professor Richard Rosenthal, have completed the methodology for the Accountability Partners Assessment. That has been approved by the monitor, and interviews of various members of the police reform community, primarily the partners, will commence in January. That will include CPC. You will be contacted and that process will go forward. Other than that, I have nothing else to report. Season's greetings and best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there an update from the Department of Justice?
We don't have an update for you this week.
Okay, thank you. No update from the DOJ. How about an update from Office of Police Accountability?
Hi, good morning, everyone. And I hope people are staying safe and staying warm right now. Just a few quick updates. I don't know if it was talked about earlier. I came in late due to the roads and the transportation stuff, but We partnered with OIG and CPC for the conversations with the clergy about 2 weeks ago, which was a really wonderful experience. And I know some of you were there. And so it was nice to start to kick off and reimagine what the partnership will look like as we kind of, maintain our own bodies of work, but still work together in that accountability partnership. The other very exciting announcement is we have 2 more almost fully staffed, which is really wonderful. I know CPC is going through some similar stuff. So we'll have a new investigation supervisor joining us January 18th, who's a former prosecutor and actually works for an accountability agency in California, who will be joining us. And then we also have a new assistant director of investigations, who is coming from the city's attorney's office, who will be joining us January 4th. So we're excited to bring some more folks on and keep this work moving forward. That's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Is there an update from OIG? How about an update from Seattle Police Department? Okay, moving right along. Well, I think that ends our department updates. If someone does come in late and we have a few minutes, then we can certainly give them some space to share an update. So let's move along to the complainant appeals update and presentation.
So yeah, I wanted to just sort of hop along. So there's no one here from OIG, but I want to point out that OIG has released their work plan for next year. They've released it publicly. And so that's something that CPC provides input on, and we provided input on 5 priorities for that work plan. The top priority for us this year is about what's going on with CSCC and dispatch, and especially in light of the interest in dispatching civilian responders to certain situations. So just keep that. I can share that with you if you would like it, but just keep that on your radar that we have been part of that, and we look forward to what they're going to be doing over the course of the next year from OIG. Okay, so let's talk about complainant appeals. I'm going to share my screen, and please feel free to jump in. I might not be able to see raised hands, so if you just jump in when I do my presentation, that would be helpful. Okay, can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, so complainant appeals. This is obviously something that is very important. It is, as has been pointed out, overdue, and it is a responsibility of CPC. So what I'm going to be talking about today is what has been tasked to us, what's been completed, and what is still left to do. So this is resolution 31753. This is from 2017. This was from City Council, and the sponsor was Councilmember Gonzalez. The description was related to police accountability, instructing the Office of Inspector for Public Safety and the Community Police Commission to review and recommend changes to laws, policies, and practices within the scope of their expertise. And this was signed in 2017. There was allocated $30,000 for this. However, because those funds were not spent at that time, we do not have those anymore. But this will fund work tasks from the resolution with current funding allocated to the agency. Okay, so what was actually tasked? This is sections from that resolution, and I'll just read them for clarity. So by the end of the Inspector General's first full year, conduct a review and provide recommendations to Council for needed revisions to Seattle Municipal Code Chapter 14.12. Also for CPC, we were tasked to convene meetings with and lead stakeholders in assessing the feasibility of establishing mechanisms to use investigation and review processes wholly external to SPD for cases involving serious and deadly use of force, providing recommendations adopted by the group. And then to convene meetings with and lead stakeholders in assessing the need for the complainant appeals process. That's where we're at right now. Consistent with employee due process rights, providing any recommendations adopted by the group to Council for consideration, and if established under city ordinance, to periodically review the fairness and effectiveness of the civilian appeal process. So that section 6 is sort of where we are at right now. So what has been done so far this year? So there's the most important part from the perspective of CPC is this work group. And again, thank you to Commissioner Wood and Commissioner Ruffin for stepping up on this important work. Clearly, it is overdue. City Council is interested in seeing progress on this, and this is one of the top priorities for the upcoming year. So what has been done so far is just beginning these discussions around community engagement and development of the work group. There were some strategies identified, such as focus groups with smaller groups of people, town halls for gathering community voice, and then work groups, individual work groups with people that might have more productive output. We did note in earlier discussions that we should have a need for language assistance, interpreters through the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. And what's also been very helpful is the creation of the complaint process flowchart. So for clarity, this is what happens at the end of an OPA investigation once it's closed. That's the point that we're looking at. So let me show you this. It's a little bit difficult to see. I had prepared this for the in-person meeting last time, and I have printouts, but this is the flow chart of what it looks like to go through an OPA process. I will say that you can't read on this, but for 35% of cases, the case is determined to have no policy value. These are ones that are referred to OPA. For 19% of cases, there is supervisory action, and the COC has 15 days to complete the action, taking remedial action. For a very small number of cases, there's mediation. For another small percentage of cases, there's rapid adjudication. For 27% of cases, there's administrative investigation. So that's when the complaint alleges major violation of SPD policy and the OPA is required by law to investigate. For 19% of cases, there's expedited investigation where OPA and OIG agree on initial findings that can be acted upon without further investigation. And then there's also on this flow chart, criminal referral, but we don't have numbers on those. So this is where if you go all the way down to the bottom, this is where we're at in terms of what does complainant appeals look like. When everything is done, what is the next step? And it was mentioned earlier today that the City Council has passed a budget that includes $50,000 per year allocated to OPA to explore an affected persons program. This is something that, according to City Council, is based on a model that's in Ontario, and it's not necessarily a appeals process. The way that City Council envisions it, it's support for people that have been affected by police violence. Again, this is something that a small amount of money has been allocated. It's very exploratory, and this is in the wheelhouse of OPA. So the most important thing, other than that needs to be happening going forward, is this work group that we have now reestablished, and then deciding how we're going to have meaningful participation from the community as we go through developing what this process might look like. And so one thing that was identified as being important is having potentially stipends for the people that are participating in focus groups, or especially in the work groups, the community members themselves. This is a lot of work. This is heavy work. This is important work. And we want to make sure that people that are doing this work from the community are adequately compensated. So we're also at the stage, and once the work group starts meeting, we will be looking at this, looking at what this looks like in other jurisdictions. I will say what we found so far is that there's not much. There's very few places where there's a robust complaint appeals process in the United States. So it makes it kind of a challenge for us to look for a model that we could easily adopt. This is probably something that we may have to develop from scratch, maybe in line with the APP, the Affected Persons Program, maybe not. But again, the work group, this is the task of the work group that has just been set up to determine what it looks like and bring in any information that we can get about what this might look like. Obviously, we have to work with the city attorney's office to make sure that the appeals process does not infringe on employee due process rights, and then start to prepare for what these focus groups, town halls, and then community-based work groups might look like, and then actually do them. So these are the resources. I can send this along afterwards that link directly to the resolution and the fiscal note. And I hope that this is helpful as we start to begin this process and very important work on developing the complainant appeals process.
Very good. Wow. Thank you. That was very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Callie. You've put a ton of work into this, and it's very obvious, and it's obviously super critical work for the commission. And I'm really also excited to see how the complaint appeals work group goes forward. Again, grateful for Commissioner Wood and Commissioner Ruffin to step up and work on that with you. I think, this is going to be I think a source of great pride for the commission next year and the community. So thank you for taking this on, and thank you, Commissioner Wood and Ruffin, for taking on this important work.
Thank you.
Are there any? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, thank you very much for that presentation. I'm just curious whether it would, folks think it would be helpful, or if this has already been done, Callie or others, to look at some of the recent reforms, the coroner inquest process that have sought to involve affected persons more directly, and whether there might be a conversation with anyone involved in that process that could provide insight into crafting our own process.
That is a great point, Commissioner Wood. Thank you so much. Yes, it has recently been brought to my attention that this is a priority of policy priority over at the city attorney's office. And so I am planned to do a deep dive into the reforms, proposed reforms to the inquest process. And yes, we should include that as part of our work group. Thank you for bringing that up.
I would echo that. I would also say, Commissioner Wood, I think this was a little before you joined the commission, but over the summer, we had a number of issues that came up during meeting discussions involving the inquest for Charlene Lyles, and there was some concerns that we had as a commission regarding how that inquest played out and how it impacted the family. And to my knowledge, there's only been 2 under the new system. So that's an absolutely timely question, and I'm glad we're looking at that too. Is there any other discussion or questions on the complaint appeals update and presentation? Well, hearing none, that brings us to the next item. I think some commissioners, hopefully all the commissioners are aware of this, but under our agenda and every agenda that's printed and approved, the CPC has the right to enter executive session when the scope of the discussion falls within the Washington Open Public Meetings Act. And at this time, the co-chairs are calling an executive session of the CPC commissioners. And the purpose of this executive session is to discuss a personnel matter. The discussion should last about 30 minutes. And at the end of the executive session, we will be adjourning this meeting. I see Callie has her hand up right now. Do you have something to add right now?
Yes, before you go to executive session, I just want to reiterate and emphasize, especially to the new commissioners that are here, our next meeting is going to be January 4th. And I really hope that we can get as many people and as many commissioners, as many members of the public as possible. This meeting is going to be a theme meeting, and the theme is reaching out to one part of the community that we're tasked to work with in the ordinance, because we're supposed to we'll be working with as many people as we can. So this is the small business community. We will have members of the public from the small business community who have been affected by the police or have interactions with the police or opinions about the police to come and present to us directly and to answer your questions about their experiences. So I really hope that mark it on your calendar right after the new year, January 4th, you're able to be here for this meeting. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Callie. And I would echo that. We have 11 commissioners here today. That's the highest number we've had in several meetings. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we're trying to get more commissioners confirmed that will engage and show up regularly. And we certainly would love to see more than 11 show up next time. So if you're here today, we really would be excited if you showed up on January 4th as well. But with that, the way we are going to go into executive session, if you are a CPC commissioner, you were sent a link for the Zoom for the executive session from Logan on Monday around 2:34 p.m. if you did not receive that link, can you raise your hand right now so that Logan can get it to you? However is best to get it to you. Is there any commissioner who does not have that link? I see Jeremy Wood's hand is up. Do you not have that link, Jeremy?
I do not.
All right. Logan, are you there?
Yes, I am working on getting that. Jeremy, is it all right if I send it to your, for everyone who did not receive it, is it all right if I send it to your commission email? If not, I will need the email that you would like me to send it to.
Okay, I see Jeremy Wood, Suzette Dickerson, Tasha Johnson, Erica Newman. So let me confirm. Alina, did you get the link?
Yeah, but I had Brandy forwarded it to me. I can't get into my CPC email, but the Alina at Seattle Anti-Racism email, that should be on file for Logan to forward things to. I think we might all have different emails on file, or we should.
Yeah.
So speaking of emails, I am working on reactivating some and if anybody else, because I know that yours, Lena, needs their account reactivated, please let me know because we're working on that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, because yeah, like
Can you-
mine, I'm in the same boat where I cannot enter into my Seattle.gov account.
And this is Tasha Johnson, same. So if the email was sent to my .gov, that I have not had access to that account for some time.
Okay. So Alina has it, but only because it was forwarded to Alina. And then Logan, do you have the other email, the alternative emails for the commissioners whose hand are up?
I have Jeremy's, I have Alina's. I need, give me 1 second, working from one screen today. I still need Suzette, Tasha, and Erica's, but let me see if
Brandy should have it on file because she sends me stuff all the time through my personal email.
Same.
That's
Okay.
the same for me. This is Erica, but I just emailed you.
Wonderful.
And then Officer Mullins, do we have did you get the link?
I may have gotten the link, but if it's possible, can I be sent the link so that I can get into the executive session?
Which
Is
email?
that possible?
Yeah, it's possible. We're just trying to,
Oh yeah,
Logan's trying to send it to everyone's.
it's not the Seattle.gov, it's Gmail. And I think he has it.
Do you have it, Logan?
I believe so. I did find Mark and Suzette's. I'm looking for everyone else's at the moment.
And Prachi, do you have the link? Prachi, do you have the link?
I do have the link. I don't know if you can hear me.
Now we can.
We can hear you now. Prachi, did you say you have the link? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I do.
Okay, wonderful.
I just sent it to Alina, Jeremy, Erica, Suzette, Mark, and Tasha. Is that nobody else?
And Mary, you have the link?
I do, yes, thank you.
Okay. And did Tasha, Erica, Jeremy, Suzette, and Mark get the link?
Yes, I got the link.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
I got mine as well.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Before we leave this Zoom and enter the different Zoom meeting link, is there anyone remaining that does not have the link? Any commissioner that does not have the link? Raise your hand now and we'll get you the link. Okay. Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and leave the public portion of this meeting. As I mentioned earlier, the executive session will last about 30 minutes. And at the end of the executive session, we will be adjourning. There will be no more public portion of this meeting. So at this time, go ahead and leave this meeting and enter the executive session link. Thank you.
Exit here. No, I don't think so. Just wait till they ask Logan, because they're going to a different thing. But they might end it here.
He said at the end they were gonna join.
Do they have to come back to this one to adjourn? I think they might.
Recording stopped.